On this occasion, I would like to explain about my article entitled The Implementation of Sufism as a Therapy in Overcoming Self-Injury. Hi, I'm Santi Nuryani, a third semester student majoring in Psikoterapi Sufism, Faculty of Ushuluddin. Self-injury activities are currently spreading so widely. Therefore, this article will discuss how to deal with self-injury so that it doesn't spread more widely with the perspective of Sufism. The research objective of this article is to provide knowledge about overcoming self-injury from the perspective of Sufism. Because at this time, some people think that self-injury is just following the trend, even though this self-injury, if left untreated, will have a very bad impact in the future. Therefore, this article will provide a little knowledge about how to deal with self-injury so that it does not occur with the therapeutic approach of Sufism. This study used a qualitative approach by applying the method descriptive analytical, and this type of research data is qualitative data, not statistic. The primary sources of this research include the literature on implementation, the teachings of Sufism as therapy, and self-injury. Secondary sources of this research include reference related to the main topic source from article, book, and research document others. Data collection techniques in this study were carried out through literature study. According to UIN psychology, self-injury or self-harm is a human psychological disorder in which the individual injures himself. Self-injury activities can be in the form of slicing, scraping, injuring, burning the skin, and brushing the body. At a more acute level, sufferers can break their own bones and inject poison into the body. Based on several opinions regarding self-injury, it can be understood that self-injury is a form of behavior that is deliberately carried out by adolescents to overcome emotional pain by injuring themselves without the goal of suicide. Self-injury can also be said to be a form of venting or channeling emotion that are difficult to express in words. This is done because physical pain may be easier to heal than interpersonal pain. And based off the research, several factors have been found that influence the emergence of self-injury behavior, namely family factor and individual factor. As for those who often do self-injury, they are generally in their early teens, which is around the age of 12 and 15 years old. Adolescence is a transitional period that connects childhood with adulthood. Adolescence is considered an emotionally difficult period in terms of development. Therefore, when adolescents begin to have a habit of injuring themselves and in Tasawuf sophistic therapy, there are levels that must be passed by a person undergoing therapy, namely Tahalli, Tahalli, and Tajalli. The first is Tahalli. Tahalli is effort to empty oneself from the attitude of dependence on the likes of worldly life. This can be achieved by abstaining from disobedience in all its forms and trying to subdue the impulse of lust. According to the Sufis, disobedience is basically divided into two, namely outward immorality and inner immorality. Outward immorality is all disgraceful behavior carried out by external members such as the hand, mouth, and eyes. And the inner immorality is any disgraceful behavior committed by the inner member, namely the heart. Second is Tahalli. Tahalli is effort to adorn themselves with good qualities and attitudes and deeds. Strive so that in every movement of behavior it always goes according to religious provisions. But outward obligation or external obedience or internal or inner obedience. What is meant by inner or outward obedience are formal obligation, such as prayer, fasting, zakat, and pilgrimage, while inner obedience includes faith, sincerity, and solemnity. At this tahali stage, a person is encouraged to fill out obedience in an outward and continuous manner and istiqomah. Some of the therapies that can be done are as follows. The first is therapy with prayer. Prayer is an obligation for every believer or every mu'min. Prayer is also a means to ask Allah for help from various problems and difficulties in life that are hard to deal with. And second, therapy with recitation of the Al-Quran. Al-Quran is the book of God. He is God's strong rope. He is a wise reminder and the straight path. He is us who is not mixed with lust, is not difficult to pronounce verbally, does not make scholars feel full reading it, does not create many rejection, and his miracles never end. Al-Quran is also a shifa, namely medicine or healer. The third is therapy with zikr. Zikr is activities encourage a person to remember or to recall things that are hidden in his heart. Zikr is also able to remind someone that it is only Allah who makes and heals, so that zikr can give suggestion for healing. Through remembrance has the same value as relaxation therapy, which is a form of therapy by emphasizing efforts to guide a person how he should rest and relax by reducing tension or psychological stress. The fourth is therapy with dua. Truly have hope in string of prayer recitation and believe that the prayer will be granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can ease the anxiety of a believer. Such confidence will help him to be patient and create a feeling of calm. And the third is tajalli. Tajalli is the term Sufism, which means the appearance of God is absolute in the form of nature, which is limited. The concept of tajalli starts from the view that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in solitude want to see himself outside of himself. Therefore, he made this world, so in this way nature is a mirror to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he wants to look at himself. He looks at nature. In another version, it is explained that God wants to be known, so he also appears in the form of tajalli. This is the final process in the Sufistic approach. Self-injury is a psychological disorder that often occurs in adolescents. In overcoming this, Sufism is here to provide therapy to someone who has done self-injury so that he doesn't do it again. Sufism as a therapy has levels that must be passed by a person undergoing therapy, namely is tahalli, and tajalli. In tahalli, there are several principles, namely is intention, i'tiqad, azam, uzlah, khalwat, manner, and evaluations. Whereas in tahalli, there are several therapies, namely is therapy with prayer, therapy with reading the Al-Quran, therapy with remembrance or zikir, and therapy with dua. And the last one is tajalli.